My name is Rachel, and I am 20 years old. I always dreamed of becoming a doctor. Since I was a little girl, I imagined myself in a white coat, helping people, saving lives. I wanted to make my mother proud. She was my world. She had given everything to raise me, even when life had nothing to offer. When I was 10, my father left us. He said he could not handle life anymore. That day, I saw my mother cry in silence for the first time. She did not scream, did not shout. She just sat on the floor, holding me close, as if by holding me, she could protect me from the world's pain. But I knew then that life had become heavier for her. Despite everything, my mother worked day and night. She cooked, cleaned, and sometimes took odd jobs. Anything to earn enough for our small apartment and my school fees. I never wanted to see her tired face, but it was impossible. Her hands were rough, her eyes often red from exhaustion. And yet, every night, she smiled at me, telling me, "One day, Rachel, you will become a doctor. You will make our life beautiful." When I finished high school, I was at the top of my class. I had studied hard, sometimes under the dim light of a single bulb, while my mother worked late nights to pay our bills. I remember feeling so proud, thinking that my sacrifices and hers were finally paying off. But dreams are expensive, and medicine was the most expensive dream of all. My mother borrowed money from a local lender to pay my college fees. She signed papers I did not understand. I saw her shaking hands, her lips pressed tightly together. She said nothing, only smiled at me and said, "Don't worry, Rachel. You focus on your studies. I will handle the rest." That night, I slept in my small bed, feeling warmth from her hug, not knowing how heavy the chain of debt had already begun to bind her. College was hard, but I studied with all my heart. I wanted to make every penny of her sacrifice worth it. I skipped lunches, studied late, and sometimes cried alone when the pressure became too much. My mother would see my tired face and say, "Eat, Rachel. A strong body makes a strong mind." But most of the time, I lied, saying I was fine, because I didn't want her to worry. After 2 years of college, the debt grew bigger. The lender called every week. My mother borrowed from friends, sold small things from the house, and sometimes went without meals herself. She never let me see the tears she cried late at night. But I felt the sadness in her eyes, the heaviness in her voice when she spoke to me. Then came the worst day of my life. I received a letter from the university, They could not allow me to continue my studies unless the remaining fees were paid. I took the letter to my mother and begged her, "Please, Mama, we can figure something out. I can work part-time. I will manage." She held me in her arms and whispered, "Rachel, I am sorry. I tried. I tried so hard. But I cannot borrow more. I cannot risk our home. Your father is gone. It's just us. I cannot see you lose everything, but I also cannot let us fall into more debt." I cried that night like never before. My dreams, my future, my desire to heal people, to wear that white coat, it all slipped from my hands. I wanted to scream at the world, at fate, at the cruel life that stole my dreams. But all I could do was hug my mother and cry into her worn clothes, feeling her tears mix with mine. Days turned into weeks. I tried to find work, anything, to pay for college. I cleaned houses, delivered groceries, even worked in small cafes, but the fees were too high. My mother refused to let me take loans. "I will not let my daughter bury herself in debt," she said, even though it hurt her to see me working so hard, so young. I watched other girls from my class continue their studies. They wore white coats in my dreams. They laughed, they studied, they were living the life I had imagined for myself. I felt a deep ache in my chest every time I saw them. But I could not hate them, nor could I hate life. My mother was everything to me. She had given all she could, and I could not let her feel guilty for my dreams. Sometimes, I would see her sitting alone, staring out of the window, holding a cup of tea she had not even sipped. Her hair had turned gray at the edges. Her hands had become rougher. I wanted to tell her it was not her fault. But I couldn't find the words. How could I tell her that my heart was breaking for both of us? That I was angry at the world, but also thankful for her love. Eventually, I gave up on my dream of becoming a doctor. I enrolled in a local college, studying something simpler, something we could afford. Every day, I felt a piece of my heart die. Every day, I reminded myself that my mother's safety and our home were more important than my dreams. And every day, I hated the injustice of life. But in the nights, when she hugged me and whispered, "I am proud of you, Rachel, no matter what," I felt a different kind of pride. Not the pride of a doctor, not the pride of a dream fulfilled, but the pride of being loved, and of loving someone so deeply that it hurt. Years later, I work in a small office. It is not a white coat, it is not a hospital. But when I look at my mother, now smiling despite the years of pain, I feel a quiet warmth. My dreams were stolen, yes, but her love gave me something even stronger: survival, hope, and the knowledge that someone would give everything for me. Sometimes, at night, I imagine my mother's younger self, signing that lone paper, trembling and full of fear for my future. I imagine her saying, "I will give everything I have, even if it breaks me, to see her dream a little longer." And I cry, not for my lost dreams, but for the immense, painful love that kept me alive. Life did not give me a white coat. Life did not give me the title of doctor. But life gave me a mother who loved me so fiercely, who carried me on her back when the world refused to. And in that love, I found a dream far greater than medicine, a dream of being human, of being loved, and of never forgetting the sacrifices of someone who gave all she had, so I could live, even if not as I imagined. I will never wear a white coat, but I will carry my mother's heart forever. And that, I think, is worth more than all the dreams the world could steal. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and share. Thank you so much for listening to my story.